Hi everyone and welcome to my review of The World Is Not Enough, directed by Apted, and it's the 19th James Bond film, so we're coming towards the end of this Bond rewatch series. We've only got a few more left, and this came out in 1999, so for me that's one of the best years in film actually. It's just full of great films, and so many of them, and this is a great film as well. This is one of them. I feel like this is one of the better Bonds, and as I say in my last review, I was kind of a bit disappointed with Tomorrow Never Dies. I said it kept up that consistency of solid Bonds, but it was disappointing, especially the second half. But it started off really good. It just never came together really to give a solid final act really or anything. But this film does, and I think this has all the elements, the romance, the great locations, exotic locations, just the character-driven, more character-driven moments and plot than Tomorrow Never Dies did. I just think it's a great Bond film. Pierce Brosnan returns, of course, and he's great. He's brilliant in this film. I thought he was really good in Tomorrow Never Dies, but just the things that were going on, the Bond girl and stuff that didn't live up to it, didn't really allow for him to kind of give his full, what he could have given, like say GoldenEye. GoldenEye for me gives one of the best Bond performances, for sure, and he's one of the ultimate Bonds in that film, and his performances never matched that. Mainly as well because of the writing. It was just superior in GoldenEye, and he had that villain, that great villain to play off of. But no, he's great again here, for sure. And it's got a great supporting cast as well. Sophie and Marceau. She plays Electra King, and she's kind of one of the main characters. Bond is basically, there's an oil tycoon who's been murdered, and Bond is assigned to kind of look after Electra King, and see that she's safe and everything, and that's one of the things that drives the film, certainly in the first half, and the opening scene as well. I think that's one of the better opening scenes in a Bond film. All the stunts, jumping out of the window and everything with the in the chair and everything, and then the boat chase, stunning action, and as well, it sets up, the plot, and it adds that narrative momentum. I was disappointed with the Tomorrow Never Dies opening. I thought it was just kind of generic, and it didn't really, it stood on its own, but some Bond films, most of the Bond films, the openings stand on their own, and they don't necessarily, add anything to the film. But really, that was just a generic opening for me, and it didn't add anything. It didn't start off the narrative drive, kickstart it, and this one does, I think. And yeah, it's just a great opening. You've got loads of stuff involved, stunts, and the opening title sequence is once again really good. I think the song "The World Is Not Enough." It's performed by Garbage, the band, and I love it actually. It's grown on me. I never used to like it too much, but now I'd say it's probably one of the better Bond themes, and certainly better than the Die Another Day song and Tomorrow Never Dies. It's got really good vocals, I think, and just the backing, the instruments used, and it's just an epic Bond theme, yeah, definitely, and the way it's used throughout as well. To underplay the film, it really well. And the score to this film, once again, David Arnold returns, and he scores this film brilliantly. I think he's a great composer, and yeah, he just really done something here with the score, throughout the film. So the first half, as I say, is really character driven, and you've got all the dynamics that play off between Electra and Bond, and all the action scenes there as well. The ski scene and everything, absolutely brilliant. Stunning action, And you've got as well this kind of subplot going on where M is, eventually captured, and throughout the film as well, Bond, trying to get her back. She's imprisoned, and some people criticise that, but I loved that. I thought it allowed M to give, something other than, the usual things that happen with M. It's not. She was in this film. I think basically she was more of a main character, like in Skyfall as well. And I think Judi Dench. It's great that they used her, to her fullest in this film, because she's such a great actress, and when she was M, she was just brilliant, the best M by far. And it's great that they gave her an actual a storyline, something to do in this film. And I thought all of that worked brilliantly. And it added something as well, that drive, the momentum for Bond to do something else other than the main, do all the main sort of plot. And all these things they came together so well in the end as well. But yeah, the first half absolutely stunning. Romantic, great locations, stunning action, and the mix of everything as well, and the intrigue of the villain. Robert Carlyle, and the exposition, where you see the images of the bullet, been lodged in his skull and stuff. I thought that was really interesting actually, and it raised some questions, which is kind of quite rare actually, in some of the Bond films, but yeah, I thought Pierce Brosnan was great. Everything was going great, really, pretty much flawless actually, for a Bond. But then, there's some other things that start to crack. Denise Richards comes into it, and she plays Christmas Jones, and she's basically she's the one that helps out Bond for quite a lot of the second half of the film. And while some of the stuff in the second half is just as good or better, I think she's one of the things that bring it down actually from reaching one of the best Bonds, maybe. I actually think she could be the worst Bond girl, and that's the real shame. Or if not the top three worst Bond girls, for sure. Just a terrible, annoying character, and it does detract from the experience a little bit. Luckily, everything else, stays the same in the second half. The action, all the other characters, and the plot, everything involved really. But she does detract. There's no denying that, and yeah. But you've got the return of Robbie Coltrane. His character was great in Goldeneye, and I felt he was kind of It was lacking in Tomorrow Never Dies as well with characters like that. He's once again great in this film, and he's actually got more to do in this than he did in Goldeneye. So I just think he's a really fun character. And Robbie Coltrane, of course, is a great actor. And I loved all the things that were going on with him as well, and his kind of storyline. And as well, another thing that this makes this Bond stand out is it's the last performance of Desmond Llewelyn as Q. So, and the thing they do there is quite subtle. It really really works, and there's a really emotional. Quite an emotional moment within the film, which I won't ruin. And as much as I really like the new Q that they have now in Skyfall and Spectre, Desmond Llewelyn was for me the best. And I don't think there'll ever be a Q like him again, really. But that scene was great as well. And in the second half, you've got more of the motivations of the villains revealed, and the way that comes together is really good. It's great, really, and something that, as I say, Tomorrow Never Dies, I felt was lacking, and in this film it definitely came together, and quite an emotional couple of moments, towards the end of the final act, actually. In the final showdown, definitely. Very emotional, and it makes you feel something for all the villains. And Pierce Brosnan throughout is stunning in this film. Denise Richards still, gets a crap performance in all these bits, but it doesn't, ruin the film too much. It's just one performance really that stands out as bad. Because the fact that Judi Dench and Robbie Coltrane, and the Bond girl, other Bond girl, and the villain are so good in this film, it doesn't detract too much, but it is there. And I feel that the direction in this film was really strong, really confident by Michael Apted. He manages to balance out, the emotions, the characters, and all these different locations, and these action scenes, which are really well, really contained within themselves throughout the film, and they're very varied, and the way they've been put together, the way they've been edited, wonderful, very dynamic, and very sophisticated for the most part as well. You've got a great opening bunch of action scenes, and throughout the film as well, stunning action, consistent as well, and varied. And I just felt it was a great time, really fun Bond, but very sophisticated action for the most part, and he just balanced out all the different elements of Bond across the different acts, and there was never a weak act at all in this film. And the way it all just came together at the end was just great, yeah. And as I say, it's got quite an emotional resonance, these little moments mainly throughout the film, with cues, Desmond Llewelyn's last performance, Judi Dench, her subplot, it makes you care for her character more, and see how much, Bond values her. And yeah, just the villains as well, sympathetic villains, I feel. Definitely, and you can kind of understand their motivations as well, and yeah, just every act is absolutely stunning for me. One of the better Bonds, and great supporting cast. Everyone apart from Denise Richards gives something really good, at least. Robbie Coltrane, as well, is a great return there, and it's another humorous Bond as well. I thought all the humour that was in the film landed, and a great script really, highlighted by the great script, and yeah, just directed, edited stunningly. So overall, I think this is a 93%. There's a few things that bring it down. Denise Richards, definitely, and she's in quite a lot of the second half. And yeah, there's a couple of moments, in that middle segment, and in that second half at times, where they're not masterful. That's why this score isn't higher. It's got a few flaws, but it doesn't reach that masterful level throughout, all of the film really. And there's moments of masterful, action, direction, and yeah, great scenes, masterful scenes maybe, but overall as a film, it doesn't quite reach that level, that elevation, that mastery of filmmaking, throughout the film. That's why it's a 93 and not, higher, but still that's a really high score from me, and a severely underrated Bond. Tomorrow Never Dies is underrated, but this one especially, I think this is a genuinely great Bond film, and yeah, I find that with the Pierce Brosnans, even GoldenEye, by critics anyway, definitely underrated. I suppose it's maybe just because they, a bit of snobbery there with because it's a franchise. I'm not too sure, but this was a great film, great action, thriller, and you got some great romance in there as well, and different things going on, and it's just a humorous Bond that's massively entertaining, and also emotional in parts as well. So yeah, I love this film, 93%, as I say, and one of the better Bonds. And yeah, this is where we get onto the end of the, as I said before, the four consistent Bonds, which was a return, as I said, since we didn't get this since the the Sean Connery era, really. This consistency of in a row Bonds. You had ups and downs constantly, really. But again, these four Bonds, this ends with Die Another Day, I must say, and we'll get to that. But I have really strong feelings about that film, and that'll be reviewed next, and I look forward to doing that more than I did actually watching the film. But thanks for watching, and check out my other reviews on my channel. Thanks.